So, one thing that I've seen one thing I'm seeing said about the game, right, is that a lot of people are wanting PvP in this game. And, you know, I've talked about this a little bit before, but I don't actually think that PvP would be good for this game. And one of the reasons why I don't think that PvP would be good for this game is because I don't think that it needs it, right? Like, I think that this game, if PvP were implemented, one, there's not enough characters, I don't think, for PvP, right? There's not, like, a massive amount of characters. Like, when you think PvP games, like mobile games, right? Most mobile games that have PvP in some sort of form have a lot of characters, right? Like, at least that's my opinion on it. I'm pretty sure that that's, you know, pretty typical. That, like, a lot of PvP games, a lot of PvP mobile games have, like, a lot of characters, right? And I think, you know, at least in my opinion, that if you don't have, like, a large, diverse pool of characters, first off, PvP is going to be kind of boring, right? Not that you wouldn't see, like, the same meta all the time anyways, but, at least in my opinion, none of Mihoyo's games have PvP, so this game will follow suit. Yeah, but here's the thing, right? Is I think that, like, a lot of people feel, or at least I've seen this sentiment, right? That people are like, oh, well, if it doesn't have PvP, then it's gonna be a dead game, right? But I think the thing that a lot of people are overlooking is that this game isn't necessarily like that, right? This is more of a story-based game. And I think that people, the other thing too, right? When it comes to PvP games, I feel like most people just don't care about any of the story or any of the actual gameplay or anything. They just want to get to how fast can I go flex on people in PvP, right? So you miss a large amount of the game in general. It's like Epic 7, right? Most people who play Epic, not most, but a lot of people who play Epic 7 are story skippers. And then they come back through and they go, oh, well, where's the content? Well, the content's all the story that you skipped and, you know, all of the other stuff. And for this game, I feel like if you put PvP in, people would be obviously rushing to get to PvP in order to get the rewards, right? Because I'll be real, like, in my opinion, at least especially for me in general, I don't tend to do PvP unless there's some sort of reward, right? Now, I mean, the reward for doing PvP in Epic 7 is content. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely going to be a large amount of content because, well, I can make videos for it and I can stream it and all of this other stuff. But if I was doing none of that, I probably would just do the bare minimum of, wait, what in the fuck is exercising scent? I would just do the absolute bare minimum of whatever it was that I was going to do, right? Now, the other thing that I think is good with games not having PvP is that if you think about it, right? When you release a new character, if there is PvP involved, you have to think about what are the implications of this new character in PvP and PvE. And at a certain point, your game is going to be catered to one or the other of those things. You know, if your game is supposed to be PvP focused, well, they're going to put out more PvP characters because, well, that's what's going to sell. Like, hardly anybody wants a strictly PvE unit because, well, they want a PvP. That's the whole premise of the game. That's what everybody is here for on this game, this specific game, type of deal, right? So I think that, like, when you have games that really just kind of cater to PvP, your balance kind of goes out the window, right? because now all of a sudden you have these units that's like, oh, well, I've got to take and make sure that I pay attention to like this aspect of it, because, you know, oh, well, they might be good in PvE, but what are the implications in PvP? And now you have units that come out that are kind of like, you know, they're probably a bit more mid, you know, because you can't have them too powerful. And unless you like have a game like, you know, like let's say a Lost Ark, right? You know, if you have a Lost Ark, then that's fine because they normalize all of the stats in PvP, and it's not really that big of a deal. But the thing is when characters are your main selling point, you know, from gacha, you can't normalize everything, because then what would be the point of rolling gacha, you know? Because then at that point it's like, oh well, yeah, I'm not going to roll gacha because you know, it's all the same character, it's just this one looks a little different. So that's a lot harder. And I think that I honestly think, and you know, I've talked about this a handful of times as well, is that I don't think that most normal people even care at all about PvP in any way, shape, or form in a mobile game. Realistically, like arena battle systems aren't really PvP. It's more PvE made by players, because it's just the AI, and you'll find ways to like bamboozle the AI, you know. It's the same deal that you run into with like, oh, that wasn't who I wanted to use that on. You know, in like Guild Wars and PvE Arena and stuff like that. It's why they call it PvE Arena. That it's not real PvE. It's not real PvP. And so you run into that, and everybody wants, like, you'll say, oh hey, you want PvP, but realistically, if there were not rewards for bot arena and Guild Wars, nobody would do it. Like, that's the only thing realistically that drives the desire for PvP, except for like a small handful of people that really do just want to flex on people. I mean, doesn't Honkai Impact 3rd have competitive PvE leaderboards where you can knock people down into the shit category? Yes, but that is also, is that really PvP? That's just board flexing. Like, that's like saying that Fate Grand Order technically has PvP because somebody has a board somewhere of how many lottery boxes that you did. That's like saying that Grand Blue Fantasy technically has PvP because the Guild Wars that you're up against another guild on who can clear PvE stuff faster. Yeah, technically it's PvP. Now, when it comes to the leaderboards, I don't know if you like win anything in Honkai Impact 3rd. I don't really know that much about it, I'll be honest with you. If that's the case, then, you know, yeah, you probably want to, you know, make sure that you get as much stuff as you can. But I think that, like, you know, when people think PvP, they think I take my units and I go head to head against, you know, your units in like an RTA type style. Now, I think like one of the reasons why I don't think that that's really that good, and like why I don't think a lot of people really care that much about it, is because that if they cared about actual PvP, they would just go play a competitive game with minimal RNG. Because, like, let's be real, most mobile games, a lot of their PvP is centered around as much RNG as humanly possible. You know, so there's part of the problem is that you're going to run into that, and you know, like, you have RNG to keep things, you know, keep people coming back for stuff. And I think that, you know, in general, PvP from a mobile game is just like people's ways of like really flexing their money. Now you'll see some people that'll be like, no, that's not what it is at all. Oh no, I love the competitiveness of it. I love the player skill of it. I love all of the aspects of it. It's like, well, if that's the case, then why aren't you playing a card game? Why aren't you playing StarCraft? Why aren't you playing Counter-Strike? Why aren't you playing Overwatch? Why aren't you playing any other number of actual competitive games? Why are you going, man, I have to try super, super hard in a game that has 3% chance to just get screwed, or, 15% chance to just get screwed. Yeah, why aren't you playing Marvel Snap? So, but like, I think that when it comes to like games, everybody is just like, oh god, I have to have PvP in it. Oh my god, it's the same deal with MMOs, right? Like, you'll have a lot of people that are just like, bruh, why my MMO ain't got PvP, hardcore permadeath PvP? You know how many people actually care about that? One, like 1 or 2 people. Like, that's about it. Yeah, most people don't really care. Most people, honestly, are PvE Andes. Like, it's just, it 100% is true. I mean, if you look at it, right? Like, let's look at it this way. A lot of times people will throw around things like, oh, if this mobile game doesn't have PvP, it's DOA. Now let's take a look at let's take a look at some of the highest grossing mobile games that have ever existed. Fate Grand Order, no PvP. Genshin Impact, no PvP. What are some of the other like really big ones that don't have any PvP? I mean, honestly, the only ones I can really think of that like have PvP in them, Monster Strike, in any way, shape, or form, is, I mean, obviously Summoner's War, which Epic 7 is a clone of. Clash of Clans, it's literally in the name if it didn't have PvP in it. Does Dokkan Battle have it? Yeah, I believe Dokkan has PvP. Let's be real. If a Dragon Ball Z game didn't have PvP in it, would it really be a Dragon Ball Z game? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I feel like PvP is kind of at the core of Dragon Ball Z in general. Now, I don't really know a whole lot about the Dragon Ball Z mobile games. I could be just talking out of my ass right now. But, like, the thing is, and, like, because I obviously keep up with MMOs because, well, I play World of Warcraft, so there's that. But I think that, like, in general, when it comes to, like, new MMOs and stuff like that, everybody's like, blah, blah. Oh my god. Dude, Azure Lane PvP was an absolute joke, and it 100% was PvE. Let's be real. When Azure Lane first came out, you could just scum save yourself and win 100% of every single fight, dude. And then the only PvP was you just timing things very specifically to, like, game the system to get more points in order to get up to the #1 spot. I always felt like you needed to beat the #1 to be the #1. But again, at the same time, you could just scum save everything and then just wait for, like, the literal perfect procs every single time in order to win every game, because you could just go over and over and over and over and over again. So there was that. But, like, that's another thing that I was talking about earlier, was like the PvPE. Whereas, like I said, Guild Wars, PvE Arena and Epic 7 just really aren't actual PvP, in my opinion. I mean, it is, but it isn't, right? But, like, I think that with, like, games like this, you have a lot of people that are like, blah, 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 blah. Oh, I have to have PvP or the game won't live. But I think it's been pretty much categorically proven that you don't have to have PvP in a game to make people want to play and spend on your game. I mean, look at how many people have spent on Genshin Impact. Like, it's insane. The amount of money that Genshin Impact and Fate Grand Order have made, like, eclipse so many other games, and there's no PvP in either of those games. So it's just always kind of like amazed me when people are like, "Oh, well, if this game doesn't have PvP, it's just dead to me." And it's like, well, like just play the game. Go play League of Legends if you want to play PvP. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy PvP in a game if it has it in a game and I enjoy the PvP. But like, you know, if you're gonna just completely discount a game just because it doesn't have a PvP mode, well then, I mean, like at that point, why not just go play like League of Legends or something like that? Because, you know, you're probably going to just skip the story anyways, right? So it's like, what's the point of having like a robust, you know, story and everything like that for people to just skip it to go to the PvP to be like, bruh, I just flexed all over people. I think it's because so many people are looking for an E7 replacement. And if it doesn't have PvP, it's not really an E7 replacement, just a kicking game. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, I mean, I can agree with that. And like I said, like I think that like a lot of the argument is like just a handful of people, right? Like I don't think that it's the overwhelming majority in any way, shape, or form. I think that the people who are going to enjoy this game really, yeah, you can play both, absolutely. Well, the thing is, right? And this is like a really weird like attitude to have, but I see a lot of people have this attitude is they're like, you can only like one game. Like, you can't like any other game. Oh, I did that wrong. Did I do that wrong? No, I think I did that right. Hold on. Wait, is there another one? No, 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 I gotta move this way. But, like, the thing is, right, is, like, people get really, really tribal about their game. Like, if you, that's the only game you can play, that's the only game you can like, that's the only game that exists in this world. The real drawback of no PvP IMO is just what happens when you run out of story. The story is the content. You go play something else until more story comes out. Like that's what it is. You put the game down and you just go do something else until the next story comes out. It's the same thing with MMOs, right? Like when the next, you know, I literally beat World of Warcraft. I wait until the next raid comes out. Okay, sweet. The next raid's out. We got content, boys. You know, you can switch between games. But the thing is that a lot of these people, they go, no, this is the only thing that I can do. I've put so much time, I've put so much effort in. This is literally the only thing that I can do and the only thing that exists. You know, but I think that, you know, if there's nothing to do, you just put it down and just go play something else. That's one of the things that I really like about this is because, I mean, let's be real. I checked earlier. I've streamed over 58 hours of this game and I have spent $0. Because I can't. I would have spent money on this. Can you name offhand like a game that you've bought recently that's not Vampire Survivors or an indie game, because that doesn't count because those games are, you know, anomalies, that you've gotten 60 hours worth of gameplay out of? And like, I'm not even close to even being remotely finished with this game. If you're a story skipper, or, you know, you just blaze through all the fucking content and then you're like, oh, where's the content at? I'm bored. Well, that's your fault. If you story skip and then complain about content in a JRPG, because let's be real, this game is a JRPG with gacha mechanics. Like, if you story skip a whole ass JRPG and you get to the end and you're like, bruh, where the content at? Where the PvP at, bro? Where's the PvP at, man? Like, I need some content doko. You know, I mean, I guess that's your fault, right? Yeah. Like, that's on you. But if you do that, you know, you probably got like a good 40, 50 hours out of the game for free because let's be real, even at this point, I have not felt like I needed to roll on any characters. I don't need Sele. You know, I mean, I like to have her, but you know, I haven't ran into anything where I absolutely need her. Um, you know, and I can get away with what I've got. But like, yeah, if I get 60 hours worth of gameplay out of something for free, I mean that's good. I mean, I'm gonna get another probably 60 hours of gameplay. Yeah, I got all kinds of stuff to do. You know how many fat boys I gotta track down? You know how many challenge things I gotta do? Like that's all I'm doing right now. Like I'm not even finishing like what I'm supposed to be doing in the story because I'm just running around, you know, fighting stuff. People will be like, "Hey, why don't you go do the story? You need to progress the story." I gotta fight this dude. Look, he's got weaknesses, man. I gotta exploit him. But like the thing is I don't feel like, you know, I don't feel like the game needs any sort of PvP. Like I feel like if PvP were put in the game, that it would diminish the overall quality and story. Like here's the other thing too, man. If you put in a new character, the only thing it power creeps is other characters in PvE, where you're just like farming gear or farming like your daily stuff. And at that point, who cares? Was I ever a PvP play type of player? Yeah, I pushed PvP in Epic 7 most seasons. Yeah. No, I pushed PvP in Epic 7 for a really long time. I mean, I've PvP'd hard in WoW. I PvP'd in 14 before they put in like the new PvP stuff. And yeah, I mean, I've played a lot of competitive games. I played a lot of, you know, um, I've played a lot of like League of Legends back in the day, you know. But I like both games. Yeah, it burns when I PvP. That was a guild that I've seen before, a guild name. Um but yeah, no, back in the day when I played World of Warcraft, I got you know, I got pretty high up in there to get my gladiator axes for my or my high warlord axes for my shaman. So I spent a lot of time PvPing in MMOs. I spent time PvPing in mobile games. I played Counter-Strike. I played League of Legends. But you know, sometimes a PvE game is a PvE game, and a PvP game is a PvP game. PvP ruins a large portion of every game. PvP balance fucks WoW PvE a lot. Been playing since Burning Crusade. A lot of changes made go back to PvP balance. If you PvP exclusively, you wouldn't see it. Yeah, exactly. PvP changes don't like PvE changes don't affect PvPers, but like PvP changes affect PvEers. Yeah, exactly. So it's like unless you completely separate the two, one thing is always going to break the other thing, and you always have to think of how to balance one thing around the other thing. And that's why, like, sometimes, man, I just want a PvE game. I don't care about PvP. As a matter of fact, I hate open world PvP because you know what I want to do, like, after a long day of work, is not come home and get absolutely butt wrecked by some rando and their 5 friends because nobody ever fights anybody one on one in open world PvP. You know, I'm just trying to pick some fucking flowers, dude. Like, I don't want to get butt wrecked by you and 3 other rogues and then have you fucking laugh at me for 20 minutes as you corpse camp me. Yeah, it ain't fun for nobody, dude. Yeah. I mean, I guess technically, I played a lot of Magic the Gathering and card games. That's kind of technically PvP, you know? So it's like, yeah, I mean, I've played a lot of them, but a lot of times I want to play a PvE game. And I think that, you know, the other thing too is when you have a game that brings PvP into it, guess what you get? A toxic ass community. League of Legends, anybody. Yeah, like League of Legends, that's what you're going to get. Yeah, you're going to get the most toxic human beings coming out and being like, you're trash, your whole family's trash, I killed you, you're the worst player that ever played this game, uninstall this game. If you do not play the most meta characters, you're literal garbage. You're not even on my level, you fucking terrible Bronzy. Do not ever even mention my name, or I swear I will rain hellfire down on you, the likes of which you have never seen before. You know, so that's like that's like a whole thing. You know, but like games like Lost Ark, where when you go into PvP, it's all just like normalized stats. Your gear doesn't matter in any way, shape, or form, and I believe you get a whole separate like skills and stuff like that. Perfectly fine. Yeah, perfectly fine. But as for whether or not I would want PvP in this game, no, I don't think I do. You know, when I was first looking at this game, I was like, man, that would be kind of cool if they put PvP into this game. You know, that'd be all right. You know, it would definitely give people an alternative to like Epic 7 and stuff like that. You know, that would be pretty good. But the more I play this, the more I'm like, you know what? No. You know what? I don't think so. If I want to go play a PvP mobile game, I will go play a PvP mobile game, but I don't think that this one needs it. I don't think that it needs it. When you're done with the story and you're done with all of the stuff, let's go play something else. I think too many people take a game that they have played a lot, and that's all that they focus on, and that's all that they can focus on. And I think more people need to, you know, just play another game. Yeah, there's all kinds of games out there. Yeah, take a break, come back when they come out with a new patch. Especially the other thing, too, think about it this way. In a PvE game, if there's nothing to do, and you go play another game for a little while, when you come back, it's not like PvP where you're super far behind. If I were to take 6 months off of Epic 7, I would have to catch up. I would have to spend so much money to catch up on characters, gear, whatever the new stuff is. I took 3 years off of Fate Grand Order. I didn't play far many events for 3 years. I came back. The account that I had, I've not had problems clearing anything in the game. And you know what? If I do have problems clearing anything in the game, it doesn't matter because it's all PvE anyways. Yeah, the limiteds that you missed that are OP, yeah, if you miss an Epic 7. But like the thing is, you know, I come back to FGO and people are like, "Oh, well, you ain't got Castoria, you don't have Scotty, you don't have this character that loops, you don't have God Arjuna," and I'm like, man, K-Scope, Gilgamesh, go Burr. That's all I care about. That's all I need. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, slap him with the EA and we're good to go. Who cares? Yeah, I don't have to farm super efficiently. I don't even exactly. So it's like it's not that big of a deal. So, yeah, you know, I think in general, does this game need PvP? Nah. Nah, I don't think so.